Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, please make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. We're able to be a little more explicit, a little more uncensored, and share content freely without running the risk of having our channel terminated. So, once again, make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. Now let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Now it looks like Tay Capone, and the stories involving him testifying against his 600 bros, Rondonumba9 and CDai are back in effect. And honestly, this is like an annual thing when it comes to Tay Capone. It's like somehow every so often Tay gets accused of snitching, then it blows over and nobody talks about it anymore, and then it comes right back, and it's like a cycle that repeats itself. Right? Now, I always liked Tay Capone and the way he carried himself during interviews or whenever he would tell stories when it came to the old drill situations that occurred at the height of the drill. He's always seemed genuine and didn't try to overly act tough or act like he was the most savage out of everybody, because normally when these guys get in these interviews, they don't only incriminate themselves, but they also make it seem like they done did it all and seen it all and they're untouchable. So when Tay do interviews and he explains what happens during a situation, it tends to seem a little more credible coming from him. However, it seems like the only story he has trouble being credible about is the one that took place the night he would be arrested along with his 600 brothers, CDai and Rondonumba9. There's many variations of stories floating around about what happened that night, but most fans feel that Tay's story isn't adding up due to his own brother, Rondonumba9, being very adamant that Tay Capone told in his case. And when you listen to an audio of CDai where he explains that it don't make sense that two people were charged with one body when it was only one weapon they claimed was used during the crime. And to put it in simpler terms, so y'all can see how foolish that is, like he says, that's like two people in one car getting charged with a DUI. Right? Which is supposed to be impossible because one person is driving, right? So it's like a lot of weird stuff going on within this case, but new paperwork has been released from Cook County. Shout out to Mickey Truth as usual, because I tell y'all that lady is the queen of paperwork, and nobody listens until that same paperwork is on you, and then you become a believer. Now, I've been asked plenty of times to do a video on Tay Capone, aka Tay600, and him allegedly being a snitch, and I always felt bad because there was never no official paperwork, I feel, to go off of. So I feel unless you Rondo or CDai or Tay himself, anything you saying is really based off opinion or hearsay. There's been plenty of allegations out there and paperwork stating that Tay told, but the paperwork being put out there wasn't 100%, a lot of people felt. Some people thought it was fake due to some errors being in it, and you see people crossing things out in it, or thought it was fake because instead of saying Rondo's real name, Clint Massey, it said his alias, Rondo. They're saying that real paperwork wouldn't say his alias, it'll say his government name. However, from my experience, I do know that if you're giving a statement to the police, they tend to use whatever name you give them because that was your words. They can't change your words. So they put it in there and then, they change it whenever they get to court and, kind of substitute it that way. Now, to be fair, I also have to point out the fact that although people mainly focus on Tay as the witness and a cooperator in the situation, it's been more than just Tay's statement that was going against the guys that will hurt them, including female witnesses that testified against Rondo and CDai as well. Not only that, but it was fingerprints involved, a cell phone that was left on the scene, surveillance camera footage, and text messages found about the crime committed as well. That's all the stuff that went against these guys when it came to building up a case and putting them away. So with all that being said, some people feel that even if Tay didn't say a thing, these guys was going to get convicted regardless because they had everything they needed against them. However, if that was the case, that's why some people feel that Tay just shouldn't have said anything. But also keep in mind that at the time of all this, these guys were 16, 17 years old. So at that age, when the police come to you and tell you that you about to spend the next 40, 50, 60 years of your life in prison for a crime that you didn't do but you have knowledge of, 9 times out of 10, these kids are telling. And this is the reason why I always tell these kids to stay out the street, because most times they're not ready for what comes with it. And every time they get caught in a situation, we see exactly that. So new documents have surfaced to shed a little more light on the situation, and it's not looking too good for Tay. The first one I want to get into includes a witness where the names are blacked out, but people are alleging that these are the statements that Tay gave to law enforcement, where he describes his relationship with Rondo and CDai and also confirms who they are. Now in the beginning, you can see that they made it clear at first Tay tried to tell him that he wasn't present when the crime was committed, until they told him that others have already in fact admitted that he was present and gave him up. So there's no way he was able to lie. Now let's get into what the paperwork says, and I'm gonna break it down why certain things say what they said and why they would affect CDai and Rondo later on. Now on the first page it says, quote, Blank stated that he has been friends with Courtney Ely for at least 5 years. He stated that Ely also goes by the name of CDai. He stated he has been friends with Rondo for approximately 7 years. Blank further stated that he has been friends with Blank for approximately 12 years. Blank identified photos of Courtney Ely as being CDai, Clint Massey as being known as Rondo, and of Blank as being also known as Blank. Blank stated that on Friday 21, February 14th, after 2200 hours, he went to a party in the area of 38th and Princeton. He stated that while he was at the party, he saw Ely, CDai, Massey, Rondo, and Blank at the party. He stated that Ely, CDai was wearing a Burberry shirt and Massey, Rondo was wearing an orange and black matching outfit. Blank stated that 2 other friends known as Blank and Blank were also at the party. Blank stated that at some point Ely, CDai, Massey, Rondo, Blank, Blank, and Blank left the party. Blank stated that some girls he knew began arguing with another group of girls at the party. He stated that he was outside of the party when someone in the other group fired gunshots, and Blank stated that he left the party with a group of girls and a subject he knows as Blank. Blank he identified photos of Blank and Blank Blank. He stated there was 2 other girls in the car, one of them was called Blank. Blank stated that they left in a Blank gray Grand Prix V. Blank stated that when they drove away from the party, he made a phone call to a female he calls Blank. He stated she gave the phone to Blank. Blank stated that he told Blank of the fight and shots fired at the party. Blank told Blank that he did not want to talk on the phone. Blank told Blank to meet him at the Wendy's on the 55th Street. Blank stated that they dropped Blank and the other female off before they drove to the Wendy's. Blank stated that Blank, 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 and Blank then drove to meet Blank at the Wendy's. Blank stated that when they got to the Wendy's, a white van pulled up with a maroon auto. He stated the girl he knows as Blank was driving the white van. He identified a photo of Blank as being Blank, the driver of the white van. Blank stated that Blank was in the white van with Blank. He stated a male subject with dreadlocks was driving a maroon car. Blank further stated that he saw Massey, Rondo, and Blank in the maroon, and then that's where it ends, right? So, although some people may argue that due to Tay not getting on the stand and testifying against these guys, I would say that these statements are enough to match Rondo and CDai to the crime based on the surveillance footage that they have, right? If Tay's describing everything these guys are wearing, when they look back to the footage and see it's exactly what the suspects are wearing on camera, that's all police need to prove that they are in fact the suspects. At that point, he himself don't have to say Rondo or CDai did anything in particular, because once he proved that they are the suspects, whatever the suspects did that fit that description, they would be charged accordingly. You get it? And keep in mind that his statement proved they was at the party, and if I'm not mistaken, one of them tried to say that they weren't at first. So with small things like that people may think is nothing by saying things like, oh, he didn't do nothing, all he did was describe their clothing. But this is how the prosecutors build up their case, and small details like that could be just as effective as big pieces of information too. Now this second document is where the real statement comes in, and as it would detail Tay explaining what he saw and identifying Rondo shooting into the passenger side of the vehicle. The document would say, quote, Blank stated that when they drove down Princeton, the maroon car made a U-turn followed by the white van and then the gray car he was in. He stated he did not know why they made the U-turn. He stated that after they made the U-turn, they were traveling south towards 39th Street. He stated that after they made the U-turn, all 3 vehicles came to a stop. He stated that he was in the back seat of the car, slouched down when he heard gunshots fired. He stated he sat up and Blank walked back to the gray car and got into the car with him. Blank stated that how he saw Massey Rondo shooting inside of the passenger side of a vehicle that was parked on the side of the street. He stated there was one more shot fired at that point. He stated that after the shooting, he saw Massey Rondo get back into the maroon car. Blank stated that when Blank got into the gray car, he was laughing. Blank stated that all three vehicles then drove off. He stated that as they passed the parked car that Massey Rondo was shooting into, he saw that a man was shot and slumped over in the vehicle. Sheesh. Now it says Blank identified photos of Blank, Blank, Blank as Blank, Blank as Blank as Blank, Massey as Rondo, Courtney Ely as CDai, as well as photos of Massey Rondo in the orange and black matching outfit that he was wearing at the time of the murder, and Ely CDai in the Burberry shirt he was wearing at the time of the murder. Now at this point, it's clear as day that whether they used Tay's statements or not in court, he told. And I think that's where people are getting things confused at. Some people say Tay didn't tell because they didn't even use his statements. He wasn't cross-examined. The girls already testified anyway. There was fingerprints. They left their phone. The jury didn't use his statements. Guess what? It don't matter, right? It's two separate conversations here. The first convo is, did Tay Capone snitch? Then the second convo would be, was his statements used in court? It's two different things, but judging from the paperwork we see here, whether it was used in court or not, he definitely told. He identified guys in pictures, described what they were wearing, said that he saw Rondo shooting inside of a car, and when they passed, they seen a guy slumped over. Well, he seen the guy slumped over. That's telling whether it was used or not. It still offered information. Law enforcement probably didn't even need him to testify or anything because they already had enough evidence, but that don't mean he didn't say anything, right? Now, in the last document, it states that Tay did exactly what I stated earlier about him identifying these guys and who they are and what they was wearing, which led them to match it up to the surveillance footage that they had of the suspects who carried out the crime. A part in the document says, quote, Blank states he knows a person by the name of CDai. CDai is a nickname for Courtney Ely. Blank states he knows CDai for at least the last 5 years and knows him from the neighborhood. Blank states that he hangs out with CDai a couple days a week. Blank states the person and people in exhibit number 1 is CDai. Blank states he knows a person named Rondo. Blank states that he has known Rondo about 7 years from the neighborhood and hangs out with Rondo a few times a month. Blank states the person in people's exhibit number 2 is Rondo. Blank states he knows a guy named Blank for about 12 years from the neighborhood. Blank states he sees Blank a couple times a month. Blank states the person in people's exhibit number 3 is Blank. So you see what I'm saying? What he did was he identified the suspects and matched them to the people that's in the surveillance footage. There's no getting away from the people that's in the surveillance footage. So once you match Rondo and CDai or whoever as being those suspects by identifying what they was wearing, and you being a witness saying you was there and seen them wearing X, Y, and Z, now you pinning them as the suspects to that crime, right? So that's pretty much it, man. Shout out to Mickey for the documents and the research she continues to do to shed light on these situations. Now, as I always tell y'all, I try to refrain from calling people snitches and all that because where I'm from, that word on the wrong person could get you out of here. So even in the title, I still said allegedly, right? However, we have these new documents as well as jail recordings from Rondonumba9 himself, where he's crying and expressing that Tay told on him, right? And I think it's more so that he just probably can't believe it. Like, you can't believe somebody who you deem your brother, somebody you deem a friend, or anybody that's close to you for that matter, to put you away for a very long time by telling on you, writing a statement on you, but it's kind of crazy, man. It just is what it is. At the end of the day, if he told, he told. At this point, he'll be doing more damage by lying about it because it's going to be exposed either way. Hiding it only makes it worse because people become more invested in trying to expose and embarrass you more. You see what I'm saying? And I could say this, man. I do find it crazy that they actually left the party, right? In the documents that tell us that Rondo and CDai actually left the party, and Tay is the one that called them back and got them involved in anything. Now whether the body was justified or not, yes, it may have been foolish. It probably was a senseless killing or whatever. However, if Tay would have never called these guys back after they left, they would have never been put in a position to do such foolish things. Or here's another theory of mine. Maybe Tay would have never even been a part of the equation to offer information to the police, because what if they left the party to go on the drill? right? What if they was about to go on a drill and Tay interrupted them? So instead of them going there and doing that first, they went to go pick Tay up because they was coming to his aid. They ran to see what was going on because they thought he was in danger. So he went to protect them, and in doing that, now they're doing a bunch of years behind bars. So that's the messed up part to me, man. The fact that Tay is the one that called them and ended up telling on them, allegedly. I know a lot of people are saying, well, he didn't do nothing, so why should he go down for their foolish actions? But that's just the point. If he ain't do nothing, keep your mouth shut. Simple. But like I say, he was 16, 17. It's kind of hard, man. But that's pretty much it, y'all. I know Tay probably going to see this because he usually comments when he sees something I guess he don't agree with. But if he does, he's more than welcome to go live and explain his side of the story on IG or whatever the case may be. I don't usually go live, but that's something I'll go live for. Because like I stated earlier, man, I actually thought good things about Tay despite the rumors that's been around his name for such time. Alright, but it is what it is, man. Y'all drop in the comments, let me know how y'all feel about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. And I'm out.